If you was around in the late 90s, chances are you would open a packet of crisps and hope that one of these little discs was hiding inside. Tazos, little plastic discs that somehow became one of the biggest crazes of the decade. But here's the funny thing, it was never really just about the Tazos. It was more about the people I collected them with, racing to finish the collection, especially these Star Wars Tazos. Welcome to Created by the Butler, where everything is hand-picked for collectors. I'm Stephen, and you're being served by the Butler. Tazos first arrived in the UK in 1996. They came tucked in packets of Walker's crisps. They looked a bit like Pogs, which became hugely popular a few years earlier. But these were different. Each one has little slots cut into the side. This meant that you could often connect them together, like so, by using the slots, and build various structures and shapes. But let's face it, not many of us actually played them like this. We would play with them in the traditional sense of using them as kind of pogs, where you would create a stack, you would then have a slammer, you would slam that on top, and the ones that flipped over you win and lose. The very first set to launch in 1996 featured Looney Tunes characters with 50 Tazos to collect in the set, plus 2 rare Walker's Tazos. Because of the popularity, Walker's then released a further 20 Looney Tunes Tazos, taking the set up to 70 in total. These extra Tazos had characters such as Bugs Bunny, Daffy Duck, Taz, dressed as famous historical people, 2 of which I have in the collection here. Then, in 1997, Walker's partnered with Lucasfilm for the release of the Star Wars Special Editions, and it was at this point when my Tazo collecting went into full speed. There were 50 Tazos to collect in the Star Wars set. Numbers 1 to 38 covered the original trilogy, neatly split with 13 Tazos dedicated to each individual movie. A New Hope, we have Empire Strikes Back, and Return of the Jedi. Then came the ones that everybody wanted, and these were the Special Edition Tazos. And it was these that were slightly rarer because they came exclusively in packs of Doritos and some other multi-packs such as Smith's Squares and Wotsits. Because most of us at the time ate more traditional Walker's crisps like ready salted, cheese and onion, salt and vinegar, those final 11 Special Edition Tazos were significantly harder for us to get our hands on. It was genius because parents all over the UK suddenly found themselves buying Doritos that they had no intention of buying originally, just because their kids wanted those Special Edition Tazos. The binders for this collection were true design masterpieces. Now, as you can see from the Looney Tunes collection here, these come in a standard ring binder, and each Tazo was put into a kind of plastic pocket. This meant that these would easily fall out. As soon as you move the binder, the Tazos would kind of just slide out and go all over the place, and you would find the binder empty and you have to place all the Tazos back in, which was super annoying to say the least. With the Star Wars Tazos, these featured thick cardboard pages, and these have these circular die-cut slots. So you don't just slide the Tazo in, you have to line up the picture and then firmly push that in, and it locks and secures in place. Now, this binder in each page holds these Tazos so securely that you can flick through the binder, turn in the pages, you can carry it around and move it around and shake it around, and they would always stay in place. Every binder also came with one of 8 exclusive plastic force cards. These were tucked into a special pocket, and they're credit card sized ID cards featuring characters such as Luke Skywalker, Yoda and Han Solo. There was also an instant win scratch card sheet where you could win one of 500 ultra rare R2-D2 Tazo storage boxes to store your extra Tazos in. The binders themselves were available in branches of Tesco at the time for a couple of pounds or so. And I ended up buying way too many of these binders just to get a full set of the ID cards. And you could also collect tokens on the back of crisp packets and send off for one of these binders. At the Back of the book here, you've also got a small trivia section with the answers down the side. Honestly, whoever designed this binder back in the 90s deserved a pay rise. Before this, I casually collected Looney Tunes Tazos, mainly thanks to my youngest sister who had a passion for collecting pogs, although I did almost end up with a full set of Looney Tunes Tazos. When Star Wars Tazos came along, and being a huge fan of Star Wars since the first movie in 1977, and being super hyped for the release of the special editions, I was all in on these. But the crazy thing is, my youngest sister, then my other sister, my brother and best friend at the time all got into the craze too. We would head to the shops together to get packs of promotional Star Wars Tazos Walker's crisps, a packet of which I still have here. We'd also go to the supermarket and try and hunt down those elusive Special Edition Tazos. We would trade and swap Tazos between us, buy extra binders on the hunt for a full set of these ID cards. It was a time of pure 90s nostalgia gold. Now, I'm not terribly proud of this next part, so please don't go judging me, but we all knew the trick, right? While at the supermarket, you would grab the multi-packs of crisps, feel around, locate the Tazo inside, bring it to the back of the packet, and if you pulled this white part tight and got it in the right light, you could see what the Tazo was inside. At that point, if it was one you needed for the collection, guide it down to the corner of the packet, give it a little squeeze, and out would pop the Tazo. Straight into the pocket and another one for the collection. Looking back now, it was a terrible thing to do, and I certainly don't encourage it. But at the time, it certainly saved buying and eating a lot of crisps. And it wasn't like we were master criminals.
I'm going in.
After we had all completed our binders, accumulated piles of duplicates and got all 8 ID cards, it all just kind of stopped. My collecting carried on in other areas such as trading cards, action figures and other retro style collectibles. But for us, the Tazo craze just kind of ended right there and then. I stored my original binder away, and sadly at some point it got damaged while in storage, so I seem to remember just throwing it away. At some point in the early 2000s, my sisters and brother came to me with their binders, asking me if I wanted them before they threw them away. Instantly, the memories came flooding back of how we collected Tazos together a few years previous. We laughed and chatted about how many packets of crisps we consumed at the time, aiming to get a full set, and the dodgy shenanigans in the supermarket, popping them out the corners of the multi-packs. I obviously chose to keep them, and this is one of those binders. This binder, or even the Star Wars Tazos inside, are certainly not worth a lot of money. In fact, you can pick them up pretty cheap on eBay, but every time I open it up, I don't remember these Tazos that are inside. I remember my brother, my sisters, my best mate, all collecting and experiencing the thrill of the hunt together. I feel like I haven't just inherited their collection here, I feel like I've inherited their memories. It was a time of siblings together, collecting, swapping, getting excited finding the Tazo that no one else had yet. They weren't giving me just simple plastic discs, they were giving me part of their childhood back. In 2001, Walker's run another Tazo promotion. This time it was for Pokemon, which featured holographic 3D images of various Pokemon. I did get a few of these, but the trend of Tazos and Pogs was starting to fade, and I never even got close to completing the set, which I do kind of regret now because the prices for some of those Pokemon Tazos can be ridiculously expensive. Once the Pokemon promotion ended, Tazos just kind of disappeared, partly due to a change in trends. Kids were now getting interested in video games and other forms of entertainment, and healthy eating initiatives were being promoted much more for children. Looking back now, it's kind of funny because Walkers wanted us to buy lots and lots of crisps, but instead they created memories that have lasted almost 30 years now, and for me, that is what collecting is all about. If you enjoyed a look back at the Tazo craze and the Star Wars Tazos today, please leave a like and subscribe. I truly appreciate that. And let me know in the comments below, what promotional item do you remember collecting? Was it Tazos or something else? I'd love to know. Thanks for watching. I'm Stephen, and you've been served by the Butler.